Today we're going to review some stats that you guys talked about last year. But actually, this first thing might be new. We're going to take a look at what a cumulative frequency graph looks like. So here we have the heights of the top, what does it say? I think 30 buildings in the world. How many floors? Number of stories in them. So what we're going to do first is on this table is we're going to count the frequency. So let's see, we got 88, so I'm just going to make little tallies, 88, 110, 88, 80, 69, 102, 78, 70, 55, 79, 85, 80, 100, 60, 90, 77, 55, 75, 55, 54, 60, 75, 64, 105, 56, 71, 70, 65, 72. So if we look at the frequencies of these, let's see, this one has 7, 5, 9, 5, 1, and 3. So 12, 21, 26. So we have a total of 30 here, 30 buildings. So the cumulative frequency, this would be 7. Well, how many buildings under the height of 70? We would add that and have 12. Plus 9 is 21, plus 5 is 26, 27, for a grand total of 30 buildings. So to build this frequency graph, what we're going to do is we'll make like an L-shaped graph. And down here we can put heights of buildings, or wait, number of stories. And here we can have number of buildings. So let's see. Let's count by 5. So we got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Actually, we could even count by less than that. Maybe we count by 2s. I wonder if there's enough. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. So we got enough. So number of stories, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110. So, the height, so the number of ones at 60 that have, so there are 7 buildings that have 60, so we can go up to 60, and there's 7, and so 50 we could start at 0 since that's our lowest. Our next one would be 70, goes with 12. So there are 12 buildings that are less than 70. Let's see, 80 goes with 21. So that could go here. 90 is at 26, right here. 100 is at 27, so right in the middle. And then 110 was at 30. So our cumulative frequency graph looks like this. So a couple questions. If we were asked to find the median height, or the median number of floors, of stories, Well, there are 30 buildings, so we'd go to 15. So if we go over from 15, bam, it hits our graph there. So that's 75, maybe about 77 stories would be the median, that middle number. So let's see, what other stats terms do you guys remember? So we have mean, median, and mode. So hopefully you guys remember this is the middle number when you order them. Whoops, and I already said the mean. Mean is the most often. No, excuse me. Mode is the most often. Mean being that average. And some of you might remember box plots. So those were the ones with the stem and whiskers, you might have called them. Where this middle number was our median. This was quartile 1 and quartile 3. And you had your min and your max. And let's see, so the range between these two was called your IQR. So that distance. So Q1 was in the middle of the bottom half. And Q3 was in the middle of the top half. So let's take a look at a couple problems here from tonight's assignment. So it looks really long, but it's not terrible. It just takes up a whole bunch of room because the graphs were so big. So we're going to take a look at the first two together. So this first one, we have a cumulative frequency graph with the number of employees and the hours worked. So if we take a look at this, well, how many employees were there? There were 160 employees, because that's our top number right here. So 160 employees, they all worked less than 70 hours a week. So the first one, find the median numbers of hours worked. Well, if there were 160 employees, our median would be the 80th employee. So if we follow that over and down, our median employee worked for 40 hours. Then we're asked to write down the number of employees who worked 50 hours or less. So on our graph here, let's take this 50. Let's see where it meets here. So it meets right here. It meets the graph. If we go over, well, how many employees is that? So 130 employees worked 50 hours or less. So number 3, the city paid each of the employees $8 per hour for the first 40 hours worked and $10 per hour for each hour after 40. Find the amount of money an employee earned for working 40 hours. Well, that's pretty easy. 40 hours times $8 an hour, so they are making $320. This number 4, find the amount of money an employee earned for working 43 hours. Well, 40 times 8, so that's 320. But then they worked an additional 3 hours for $10 an hour. So an additional $30. So they earned $350. And the last one, find the number of employees who earned $200 or less. Well, let's see how many hours that is. We know that's less than 40. So divided by $8 per hour. Divided by 8, and so our hours equal 25. So we can go back to our graph here, and let's check out 25 hours. So that's right here. Go over to our graph, so it's right on that line. So let's see, these must be counting by 2. So 10, 2 less than 20. So that would be 18 employees. And then the second one we're going to take a look at, a cumulative frequency table. So all this is saying is how many times something occurs. So 2 occurs 8 times. So if we were to make a master list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 appears 15 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you guys get the picture, but I don't want to write that down. So write the mode. Which number appears the most? Well, that's going to be 10. Find the range. So, well, the range is highest to lowest, like what's that spread? So 11 is the highest, 2 would be the lowest, so 11 minus 2 is 9. Well, then we have to find the mean, and we all know mean is adding over how many we have and then dividing it by how many. So we have a lot of 2's there, and I don't want to list these. So how many times does 2 appear? Well, 8 times. So we know there's 2 times 8, because that's 8 times. 4 appears 15 times, plus 7 appears 21 times, plus 10 appears 28 times, plus 11 appears 3 times. Well, what would we divide this out? We got to find our total here. So let's see, 15 and 8, so we got 23, 44, 54, 64, 72. So there's a total, if we listed them, of 75 numbers, so we divide that by 75. And I'll leave you to type that into your calculator.